This one is in the mud bath exterior color. As you may have guessed, it's made to look like a brown mud, I suppose. But I guess it's pretty cool. So here in the front, you can see there's some matte black accents here in the grille, but it also has like this digital camo effect going on in certain places. There's parking sensors across the front and back. We have the radar adaptive cruise control, the camera for the 360 camera system. There's the light bar as well as the fog lights. The headlights are a quad projector system, so you have 4 projector LEDs on each side. Looking pretty good. Now I have a night video on the Tundra if you want to check it out. Now this one has additional lights. You can see these little marker lights here. You'll see these also here on the flares on the front and back, and there's also some of those lights in the back. I'll show you that in a second. You can see some body colored portions here kind of blending in at the bottom. But then here on the sides, you have that, I don't know if it's digital camo or what it is, but it has like this style here on the fender flares. Then body colored there on the bottom. So we don't have any large plastic cladding on the bottom of the vehicle like some off-road vehicles. So it has just a matte black handle, side mirror, pillars are matte black, except for this one right here. This is the gloss. So you can see that's gloss here at the bottom, and then the center is the matte black. And then the front pillar is also matte black. And you see another little marker right here in the back. And then the tail lights have that vertical design. And then you have these markers here in the tail light, or in the tailgate itself. There's also a little approach light right here as well. Now the backup camera is offset over here, slightly offset, and you'll notice that on the screen where it has to compensate because it's so not centered, Now as a towing package, parking sensors back here, 7 and 4-way outlets here as well. And as you saw in the beginning of the video, there is a spare tire underneath. Now, this tailgate is electric. So we press a button under here and it lowers. So it's power down and power up. So you don't want to just grab it and jerk it up because it'll mess up the gears. But if you do pull up on it, you pull up on it gently and it triggers. Lift it up like that a little bit, and then it'll trigger it to go back up. But you want to be careful with it. But yeah, it's just like a powered system here. It's kind of cool, I suppose. And you can power fold it. You can power lower it and power raise it while you're sitting in the driver's seat. There's a little button up there as well, which can be useful. You back up, and somebody's going to load something. You can go ahead and drop the tailgate, back up to them, that kind of thing. Now this is a composite bed. In other words, it's a really strong plastic. And when I say really strong plastic, it is really strong. It's amazing how strong plastic can be. But you have these little dividers here, so you can put some wood pieces to divide up the cargo area. You can also put one across here as well. Now there's a 400 watt power inverter here. It's 100 watt or 400 watt, depending on if you have the vehicle on or not. 120 volts, 3-prong. You have that cleat there where you can have different tie downs. You have fixed tie downs on each corner as well. You have some bed lighting on both sides here and here, as well as there on the back of the bed. So lots of light back here for the cargo area. Now you notice there's some cameras up there. See, there's a bed camera and then there's a rear view camera. So both of them are right there in the center. Then you can see there's a shark fin antenna up there as well. But yeah, very usable bed, and I really like composite beds. Once you get used to them, you don't have to worry about scratching them. Like painted metal, you need a bed liner because it'll just get scratched up and start rusting. This is very strong, and you can basically put center blocks in here and just slide them around, and somehow it doesn't scratch the plastic. I don't understand how it works, but it's pretty amazing. I've made several videos talking about last fit products and demonstrating, what they do. One of them was a headlight review where you take the LED last fit bulb and replace like a halogen bulb, so you would get an upgraded experience, both the light output and just the clarity and the hue of the light. But mostly it's been the floor mats. Last Fit makes these custom fit floor mats that are custom made for each individual vehicle. Not only do you have floor mats in the front, the second row, third row, but also cargo mats in the back, in the cargo area, the trunk, or in the case of a truck, some of them will have the cargo mat in the back, the bed mat. So I did a Toyota Tacoma, showed the different features, the Santa Cruz, Hyundai Santa Cruz, Subaru Forester, but I also have a video on the Toyota Tundra showing you the factory mats and how they compare to the last fit, and show you that how much more coverage you get with the last fit, the materials, how well they fit and they don't move around, and just the overall comparison and value proposition of the last fit mats. And so, you know, there's a huge difference sometimes with the last fit upgrade versus the standard. Now, the Toyota Tundra has like a certain aesthetic to it, the last fit mats, that really makes the interior look really nice. It does definitely improves the aesthetics of the interior when you use these mats. But anyways, there'll be a link in the description if you want to check it out. It's a more detailed video. So just check out the link in the description. The opening in the rear door is excellent. Plenty of room to get in and out. Now, it has a little bit of a height to it, so if you need a step, you can add that if you need to. The inside of the door, it's mostly like hard touch surfaces, but it has some soft touch surfaces as well. Red stitching. This is a little pocket. You can use that as a pocket anyway. It has felt lining. This is a pocket here, and then you have the larger pocket kind of segmented. You can put bottles or whatever there as well. It has this little accent. It's kind of like a carbon fiber simulated, I guess, going on there. There's the threshold. Now the hybrid battery system is underneath the seat. This is a filter, so you can take that off and replace it or whatever. But there's no like cargo area underneath the seat. So yeah, so you can see it's just filled in. Now there's a relay and fuse under this cover here if you need to access it. There's another access panel on the other side. Now these seats kind of have that digital camos type look on the seats as well. And this is a soft tech seat, so it's a simulated leather, which is very durable and easy to clean. It's amazing how you know, these can go for years, and then you clean them up and they still look brand new unless they're like severely damaged or something, which is usually not the case. Now these headrests can fold down flat if you need to. You have better visibility basically. You have the tools for your spare tire back here, tiny bit of cargo space behind the seat, little bag holder. It does have the latch system for car seats. There's the top tether anchor, and then the other pieces are here in that seam, easy to get to. There's a soft armrest, some cup holders here. USB-C and USB-A ports here with covers. I like the way it has the covers because it can get dirty. And then a power inverter here, and once again, 400 watts or 100 watts, 120 volts. Little storage compartment here. Climate control vents, and then your cup holders are there. There's pockets on the back of both front seats. And look at that leg room, plenty of room. There's handles to help you get in and out. This one has the huge sunroof. It does have the hangers here on the ends, one on each side if you need to hang clothes or whatever. Here's the other side. I'm going to fold the seat down so you can see. This is the larger seat here. Has the JBL sound system, speaker, and then there's a little bit of space there to put some stuff. And then there is an access panel here for more fuses basically, but no under seat storage. And another filter here as well. It is a full proximity key system, and it does give you the ability to lower and raise the liftgate as well. No fancy key though for the TRD Pro. I would think that it would have some kind of cool thing on the back, but it doesn't. It's just like a regular old Toyota key. It just adds the tailgate there, and it's the full proximity system to where it has a sensor behind the handle here for unlocking, and then the sensor here for locking. So pretty straightforward as far as that goes. There is a physical location on the driver's side for behind here to unlock it, but on this side there doesn't have it. The inside of the front door, basically it's a similar style. We just have the contrast stitching, soft touch surfaces here, the rest of it is a hard touch. This is enclosed for a pocket, this is a pocket, and then you have the pocket there at the bottom. So no surprises there. Now the passenger seat is powered, and you're able to go up and down, tilt the back, two-way lumbar adjustments. So pretty good amount of adjustments for a passenger seat. And we got that digital camo look going on with the heated and cooled seats. 3-stage heated and cooled seat. TRD Pro embroidered in the back of the seat, looking nice. These are comfortable too. This is soft, this is soft. Once again, lots of leg room here. lockable glove compartment. It's kind of like shelf system going on. Soft touch. And then you have a hard touch surface up here. Handle. You see it has the sporty pedals here and decent leg room, footrest and all that stuff. Let's take a look under the hood. The hood has a latch right here. It's easy to get to. It's right there in the center. And the hood holds itself up. It's not heavy. It's like aluminum or something. And you can see the engine compartment has the insulation there in the firewall and a cover over the engine, most of the engine there in the center. And we have some hybrid components over here with the yellow cables, which is the high voltage lines. There's an air filter, fuse box. More fuses over here. This vehicle is powered by a V6 turbocharged, twin turbocharged hybrid iForce Max V6, 3.4 liter, and it puts out 437 horsepower at 5,200 RPMs and 583 pound-feet of torque at 2,400 RPMs. Now that RPM range is very low for the peak torque. So if you floor it, you're gonna go past that RPM peak and then your torque is gonna diminish after that. So if you keep it in a normal driving range as far as the RPM range, it feels way more powerful than just flooring it and getting the RPMs too high. Now it's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now it does have the four-wheel drive feature with the different drive modes and terrains and stuff as well. It does have the blind spot detection system and the indicators here on the side mirror. The driver's side doors looks just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. It has two presets for the power seat, power window switches, one touch up and down, non-laminated glass. Back windows go all the way down. And then one touch up and down as well. Door lock controls, side mirrors are adjusted here. You also have a power folding feature, which you can have put on automatic, or you can power fold them manually. You can turn that off if you want. Power seat here for the driver is basically the same as the passenger, two-way lumbar adjustment, up and down, tilt, all that stuff. And yeah, these are pretty comfortable seats. I was impressed with them. So right in here, we have a bunch of cluster of buttons here. Heated steering wheel. We can turn on the power inverter. We can turn on the light bar. Now, once again, it won't turn on until you turn on the high beams. The cargo lights, you can turn those on or off, or with the door here. Automatic high beams. And you can release the fuel door here. You can adjust, by pressing this button, you can adjust the illumination for the gauge cluster. You just press it and just land on the brightness that you want. Reset the trip, and then the parking sensor's off. Default will be on here. Now it has a tilt and telescoping steering column. It's easy to reach and lock into place. So yeah, 1,380 pounds is the payload for this vehicle. So it's a little bit less than the spec sheet, but yeah, something to consider, because this is for your passengers, your cargo, anything that's in your bed, in addition to your tongue weight. So all that has to be under 1,380 pounds. So, basically decide if that's gonna work for you. I'm sitting in the driver's seat and I'm 6 feet tall, and I put the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down, and it's too far back for me to drive. So if you're over 6 feet tall, you should have no problem driving this vehicle. There's plenty of room. I'm going to pull it up here. Left to the right of my legs is fine. The leg room itself is fine. The position of the footrest is great. Pretty much everything as far as that goes. And also you can lift it up a little bit and feel like you're sitting in a chair. You don't feel like you're sitting on the floor. So yeah, good driving position and a very comfortable seat, especially considering it has a 3-stage heated and cooled seat as well. So yeah, it's all good. I like the way it has this TRD accent there. Now the steering wheel is mostly soft to the touch. I mean, it has like a leather wrapping or Softex wrapping, but it feels good. It feels good. Some parts are a little bit, softer than others, but it has like these little dimples looking kind of sporty here, and it has the center line. I guess if you're like tracking the truck or something, it has that center line there for kind of like a racing style. You have your cruise control here on the right side. Now it's actually segmented, so your cruise control is up here. The controls for your screen is right here, but just below it, you'll notice here and here is a separate deal. That's for your radio. So volume for the radio, voice recognition, mode, which is your audio source, and then change to your track. So that's a separate deal going on there. Windshield wiper controls are here, and then you have your turn signal and headlight controls, as well as your fog lights. So you can turn off the DRLs as well. And there's your fog light control. Now, separate from that, remember the light bar, which is a separate button there. Now this gauge cluster, right now, you can see it has a speedometer, RPM gauge, battery voltage, the oil pressure, fuel economy, odometer, basic information, fuel gauge, engine coolant temperature, outside temperature, digital clock. So it has some useful stuff here. So I'm going to use these buttons right here. You have the left, right, you have a back, and you have up and down and an OK button right here. I'm going to use those buttons because you can customize the screen to some degree. So you can see the information here. I'm going to scroll up and down so you can see there's more information to be had. Going left to the right, you can see these little icons give you more information. We can go up and down on certain one of them, on different ones depending on which one it is. There's the settings, and then you have messages there. Now if you go into the settings here, you can turn on or off different things. Now, if we go to customize right side, we can add some stuff, this kind of information to the right side as well. Now, if we go to that, where it just says picture settings, there's a picture of the gauge cluster. If we press and hold the OK button, we can pull this up. We can change the language, we can change the units, but we also have a speed meter option here as well. So we can choose that, and right now it says analog. So this is the analog screen. We can change it to digital, right? So we can have that view there. We can also have analog and digital, which was what I prefer, that one there. So we go back out. All right, so there we go. So let's go to customize right side. And we can we'll go ahead and go to boost gauges. So that'll be on the right side there. So yeah. All right, so you can kind of see how it's kind of somewhat customizable. It has some additional information depending on your needs, and you can set it up the way you want to set it up. But yeah, I like the combination of the digital speedometer and analog together. That looks good to me. More useful and a little bit cleaner than the other view. So there is the TRD red candy-like start button. And then down here is the trailer brake gain control. This screen is pretty much the same as a lot of other vehicles. So you have the navigation, which is actually activated on this one, which is nice. So we can see what it looks like. Kind of scroll in and out. See how far we can go out. See if we can see the entire world. Because it zooms in fast. All right, so yep, there we go. All right, so the next one will be the radio. So we have different audio sources here. It has a radio, it has satellite radio, and also, of course, has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto capabilities, stuff like that. You can pair your phones and play off your phones, and you can adjust them here. You also have your vehicle information, trip, vehicle alerts. You also have the history here on the trip. And then here's your settings. You can set up the vehicle. Display settings here, screen and camera. Speaking of camera, this is one of the best things about the vehicle. Let's go ahead and use this button. We'll skip ahead a little bit. Press that, because if you put it in reverse or drive, it's going to give you a different view. When you're just sitting here in park, this is the view it gives you. I don't really care for it. But it does give you the ability to turn on a camera system and see around, I guess. But let's go ahead and put it in reverse so we can see the actual view here. Right now it's showing the backup camera, the top-down view, 360 camera system, and it has active guidelines. You can see that center line is a little bit offset, showing you where the actual center line is. So if you're backing up to a trailer, it helps you out there. I wish the camera was just in the center, it would help out. But it's still fine. We can still see the front view, the back view. We can see the front sides where the front tires are. And then we can see the back sides where the rear tires are. We have a bed camera, which is excellent. And then, so yeah, the different views here. So since we're in reverse, we'll keep it there. And then we can have the different guidelines here, depending on what we want. And then we have the automatic function, which we can automatically have the camera system pop up when we go to low speeds. But let's go to the off-road images right here. So this is the camera for the off-road. So since we're in reverse, we still have the backup view, but we have the side view here on the sides. And you can change the views here, 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 and here. This one is like making the vehicle invisible so you can see the corners better, because the visibility isn't all that good since it has these like bolster things sticking up. Wish they'd get rid of them. But we have the pitch and roll as well. So yeah, different views here are nice. That's the off-road view. This is more of the on-road view, which is still useful off-road. But yeah, I really like the camera system. I especially like the automatic function. When you get slow, it automatically turns on, or if the parking sensors activate, automatically turns on. So yeah, great camera system. Down here is mostly the climate control, but it does have the volume for the radio. You have the temperature for the driver and passenger, change where you want the air to blow. You can sync the driver and passenger. Fan speeds here. It does have an automatic function as well. You have a 3-stage heated seat for the driver, 3-stage cooled seat for the driver as well. Passenger, same thing. You can have the front, have the air go in the front, not the back. Recirculate the air, front and rear defrosters. Side mirrors will turn on, heated side mirrors anyway, will turn on with the rear defrosters as well. So we have the camera button, which is very useful. This is the trailer, backup trailer, the trailer backup assist system. So you have to set it up, the backup guide. Right now, there's no trailer selected. Now, the traction control is default on. This is the off button. So if you need to spin tires for whatever reason, you can turn it off here. 4-way flashers, rear locking differential, and then you have the ability to raise and lower the liftgate here. Electronic parking brake with auto hold function. Here's the shifter. It's pretty straightforward. Reverse, neutral, drive, and then you have a standard mode, which you can change through the gears by bumping it like a ratchet shifter, in case you need a downshift or something. Now there's your 4-wheel drive controls, 2-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive low, and then you have a knob here, which right now is selected for the drive mode. So as we turn this, as you can see, it has the sport, normal, and then eco, like so. And then we have the tow and haul mode, which you can toggle on or off. It's a set button here. And then you have the multi-terrain select. We hit that. Now we have to be in, we're in 2-wheel drive high, so we have to be in some level of 4-wheel drive for the multi-terrain select systems. This would be the off-road stuff. And then you have a crawl control as well over here. There's the cup holders. One is shallower than the other. And right in here, you have a wireless charger. My phone doesn't work when I put it there because I guess my case or something. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of leaning there. And then you have some storage space here. And we have these creaky plastic going on here. Little storage compartment there. Little tray that slides back. You can access the larger part. The larger part, this lifts up and you can access this larger part here. Place to put some coins, USB-A, USB-C, and just kind of different random levels, I guess. I think it would be better if it was just one open space with a flat floor, but, you know, not sure why they did it that way. And this is like hard plastic, so when I put stuff in there, it slides around when I'm driving. Same thing with that. Cup holders are accessible from the front and the back here. Now it has a rear view mirror as well as a rear view camera. So there's the mirror, auto dimming, rear view camera, HomeLink garage door opener controls, and you also have adjustments for the camera system as well there. Up here is a place to put your shades or safety glasses or whatever. Individual tap lights, reading lights. You can turn on all the lights with that switch, all off, or have them turn on with the door in the center position here. This is for the shade for the sunroof, and then this is the actual movement of the glass. This is to open the rear glass behind the back seat. We'll look at that in a second. The visors are a cloth, just like the headliner, black cloth with a visor, with a mirror and a light. They also slide as well and give you pretty good coverage, I suppose. A little clip there on that side as well. Okay, so this sunroof is massive. It's a panoramic sunroof. The back part is fixed, the front part moves. Let's go ahead and push up on the button to vent it. Push it forward to go down, and then back to slide it. Let's press it again. It goes a little bit further back if you slide it back again. All the way back, so that's nice and huge opening there. And then it has a shade, and the shade covers 100% of the light. It's a power shade, and it's just like a cloth, stretched tight. but it does block 100% of the light, which is nice. All right, so looking at the visibility back here, you can see the headrests kind of get in the way a little bit, but they can fold down, no problem. And overall, it's fine. It has a little bit of a issue as far as that pillar, but not bad at all. I mean, considering you have all the technology, parking sensors, camera system, blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, no problem. So now would be a good time to show you that power window back there. That's kind of cool. Goes up and down quite fast. So I'm in, let's see here, make sure I'm in sport mode. Okay, so one of the things about these type of vehicles is that if you just floor it, it's not gonna feel all that powerful. Like it's powerful and everything, and it feels fine, and you get good acceleration, but it's not like super impressive. But when you're giving a little bit of acceleration and a little bit of, you keep the RPMs in a more reasonable area, it feels much more stronger and much more capable. So just a normal acceleration like this, hitting the accelerator just a little bit, it feels actually a little bit faster. It's amazing, because it takes advantage of the hybrid system and just the way the engine is designed to, stay in a more reasonable RPM range, and it just feels really good. But yeah, if you want to not be impressed with it, just stand still, blast off 0 to 60, and then you're like, okay, well, what happened, right? It just doesn't feel like you would think it would, especially when you drive it normally and it feels all strong. It feels like it's going to just break traction sometimes because it's so, it's so strong at a low RPM. But when you get it, like when you just like blast off and get the RPMs way past the peak torque, then it feels weak again. I don't know, it's not weak, but it's not as strong as you might think it is. But normal driving, without hitting the accelerator too hard, like flooring it, that kind of stuff, is very satisfying, and it feels very capable. It's a little bit, in sport mode, it's a little bit, trying to be too responsive, so it feels a little bit jerky sometimes. So for me, the normal drive mode is a good blend of smoothness, but also, it gives you the power when you need it. When you hit the accelerator a little bit more, it's going to give you that power, but it's not going to be, it's just going to smooth it out. It's not going to be like, trying to hang on to the RPMs and jerk you around a little bit. The sport mode just a little bit too, for daily driving, it's not really necessary. Most of the benefits of the TRD Pro will only be really realized when you're doing off-roading, some sort of off-roading. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to take this vehicle off-roading, but it is designed for that kind of thing. You have protection, underbody protection. It has a more capable suspension system, and it's just, basically designed for that type of thing. Now, you still have the basic structure of the Tundra, which, like it has the adaptive cruise control and lane tracing assist, and, the niceties of the regular, Tundra vehicles, right? It just has the sportier style, and then it has the more off-road capable. Now, one of the benefits of the off-road capable suspension system is that you have a pretty good on-road experience. Just driving it like this, just on regular roads, highways, or back roads or whatever, it's a nice, enjoyable ride. I had some issues with some other Tundras where it had a little bit of a suspension hop in the back, and it was kind of like a little bit of a, just kind of bouncy a little bit. And I think that was several years ago, but I don't experience that at all with this truck. It feels really good. It has not that much lean when you're going in curves, and it feels pretty good. And yet, of course, it has a little bit of a slightly higher there in the front, so we have good visibility, and you just have a good stance as far as your experience driving it. But of course, it looks good too. And the exhaust is well done. It's not overly loud, or it has a nice rumble. And so yeah, really enjoy the rear view mirror camera system here. It looks good, very, very capable day and night. You know, you're able to see behind the vehicle without any obstruction, especially if you have stuff in the bed of the truck or if you have passengers or cargo behind you. This will still give you the, you know, your visibility back here in addition to the camera system, which is also great. Now, as far as visibility, one issue I had, I like these mirrors. They're not like the previous tow mirrors where, you know, kind of like covers this whole area and blocks your visibility. But these bumps on the hood, these black bumps on the hood, these plastic, just cosmetic look, you know, just for cosmetic. Those kind of like, so like say when you're off-roading, it's very important to know the boundaries of your vehicle, you know, the edges of your vehicle. But that just kind of like, those things kind of stick up and unnecessarily get in the way of some of your visibility of close to the vehicle. You know, you want to be able to see, you know, down and close to the vehicle, you know. So a lot of off-road vehicles that are made for off-roading will kind of slope that down so that way you can see there, you know. You can say like, you know, like Jeeps and different, you know, vehicles that are off-road focused, they won't block your visibility. They'll enhance it, you know. They'll put your seat in a higher position, clear the space on both sides, and that way you can see there. Now, of course, you can use the camera system. That kind of like, it kind of like takes away that problem to some degree, but still, you know, those plastic pieces, I think they're just unnecessary, and they're just too bulky, and the shape of the hood is just not really, it just doesn't look like it's designed for off-roading, you know. It's just made for looks, and yeah, I don't know. I think with the TRD Pro especially, and you know, the Tundras or the vehicles in general that have that off-road focus should be designed as far as that visibility. Like put a different hood on it, you know, or at least take those pieces away on these off-road focused vehicles, in my opinion. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it's worth mentioning because, you know, like nobody really focuses on those type of things. You know, it's one of those things that we just take for granted, the shape of the vehicle. But you know, you also have to consider that if the shape of the vehicle and the design of the vehicle is impeding the intent of the vehicle, then, you know, it needs to be pointed out. And I don't know if anybody points out these things. So yeah, that's something important to me. Like if I was going to buy a vehicle for actual off-roading, you know, trails or whatever the off-roading is, I would want to, you know, that kind of implies right there that, you know, the people who design this truck, it's more like that they're not taking that into account, you know. And it's the little things like that when you get in a vehicle and you kind of like, you can see that it's like, okay, well, you know, it's just a regular truck and they just kind of make it more capable off-road, and it's not really an off-road focused vehicle in general. So with the TRD Pro, this is not a cheap vehicle, right? It's not a cheap vehicle, and it's nice and all, but and I think that, you know, for most people it should be fine. But if you're really like going in tight spaces and off-roading on trails and stuff like that, then you know, I wonder if they have like an aftermarket type hood or something that would, you know, that could be done about that issue. It's possible. I don't know. People do make a lot of aftermarket parts for, you know, Toyota and Jeep and all kinds of different vehicles, especially off-road parts nowadays, like super abundant as far as that goes. Really like the camera system though. That transmission is smooth, feels good. A 10-speed transmission is able to have a lot of different, basically gear ratio options, so it's able to smooth it out pretty good, especially when you're not accelerating hard. It just kind of blends it in nicely and handles the power good. It feels, as far as the powertrain, it feels good. Other than just flooring it, then you're like, okay, well, where'd the power go, right? But yeah, it's an interesting vehicle, you know, like if it wasn't aimed at an off-road buyer, then it's just like a truck market, then it would make more sense. But the TRD Pro being the I think it's just basically cosmetic, like you know, you can go off-road and stuff with it, even though that's where a lot of the benefits are. Like it has the suspension that's made for off-road, and then you have the underbody protection, and then you have the different camera angles, and the different off-road four-wheel drive modes and stuff. It's like you have all this benefits for off-roading, but then you have some limitations as well. So cost and benefits like any vehicle, I suppose, but they're worth pointing out. I like the way it has the TRD light bar in the front, and it corresponds with the high beams, low and high beams. So when you can dim them quickly when you get back on the road if you're not off-roading. Pretty cool sound system, JBL sound system. I like the way you can max out the volume and it doesn't distort at all, and it feels good. It fills in the sound everywhere. The speaker placement looked fine. I mean, it looks good. It sounds good, and the only thing that I would say that with the vehicle, just in general, the screen, is that I would want a quick button to adjust the tone of the sound, right? So like right now, I have to go into a submenu on the settings in order to adjust it. I can't just adjust it on the fly. It's not like it's not really designed to, like, you're driving and you just like make an adjustment real fast, right? You can't do that. So there's lots of room on the screen. Like, you would think that you could have something like that. But yeah, it makes it a little bit more complex to, kind of like have to set it up, which is probably best to do anyway, where you're not set it up before you get going. But still, sometimes when the driving experience, the audio while you're driving, the way it sounds is a little bit different than when you're sitting still, because you have road noise, wind noise, all this other stuff that, it has to be factored in while you're driving, right? So like, say, you want to bump up the bass a little bit. Well, you got to go into the submenu on the settings, so it makes it a little bit of a pain. So something to consider. Maybe they'll later on adjust the software to where you're able to do that. Like most other manufacturers will have a button, audio setting. You just click the button, it pops up. You can bump it up real fast, just like the volume. You can adjust that. So yeah, that's the only thing about the audio. Other than that, it sounds good. And even at the flat profile, it sounds really good. Just a slight adjustments is all it takes, and depending on what music you're playing. But yeah, the audio is the JBL sound system. With the TRD Pro, it's a sporty truck. You gotta have a good sound system. It's essential, and it does deliver on that.
Born of tides where no fights with sword, but mind. He is the throne breaker, king of the real beneath the lies, watcher in the hall of mass with serpent blood upon his eyes. He broke their crown not out of rage, but to reveal the cage. The world of men's illusion fades. He walks between the age. In halls of stone and whispered schemes, he saw the veil behind the throne, the serpent men, the shifting dreams, the truth carved deep in bone. He spoke to silence more than crowds, to thought more than command. He held the blade not just for war, but to understand. Not just a king, but the question raised, the mind behind the myth of lies. He is the throne breaker, voice of truth within the flame, burning through the script of gods who play the people like a game. He stood alone, not out of pride, but because the world had lied. And when the stars forgot their names, he did not step aside. Am I but a shadow in their play? Do I rule or wear their mask? What is real when all obey and no one dares to ask? No chains, no face, no fate, only will remains. He is the throne breaker, not forged to serve but to defy. The dream of kings, the sleep of slaves, he tore through heaven's lie. He ruled not for the throne or land, but to understand. And in the silence left behind, he still commands.